Sports films are typically something I'm not really into. I really don't go into any sort of sports film. If I see a film that is going to talk about football, soccer, basketball, or baseball, none of those types of movies appeal to me. I have to be very clear and honest about that. And that also extends to video games as well. Typically, sports games don't really appeal to me. But there is one specific type of sport that I kind of am into. And I think it's typically cars and racing games. And racing movies are way more appealing to me, And I'd just like to preface this by saying that, not all racing movies are great, but some of them really stand out sometimes. And I feel like this is exactly the case when it comes to the single film that we're talking about today that is a part of our Movie Savant Film Fest that we are doing here on this channel. And that movie is none other than F1. So I'm going to go ahead and say that before you even watch this, go watch the movie. Just go out and watch the movie. If you've already seen it, stay. But go watch the movie. I want you to know something. Everything that I'm going to say to you, I wouldn't even consider a spoiler because ultimately it is a spoiler. I'm going to put it up just to be safe. I'm going to put up the spoiler warning for you guys. So I want you to understand this. Everything that I'm about to say are things that in some way are related to reality, like the real version of F1. In some way, shape, or form, a lot of these little situations that happen in this movie are kind of things that are already like common knowledge amongst people who are aware of F1 and the things that happen throughout the sport itself. But nonetheless, it's part of the movie, so might as well call it a spoiler. So just wanted to let that out right now. But go watch the movie in theaters. I think that you'll thank me and thank everybody else who recommended it to go see in theaters. Just go do it, because you're going to absolutely love this film. But I have to tell you why first, before anything, so stick around, because you're going to like what I have to say. So let's start off talking about the direction of this movie. It was directed by Joseph Kosinski. Now, you may look at this guy and think, okay, he's the director. What else did he direct? Now, if you haven't seen the poster or any trailers of the film, you would know it, but this guy also directed Top Gun Maverick, which was an extraordinary movie. Cinematography was top-notch, music was amazing, everything hit its right mark. There's just no other way to put it. That movie was absolutely amazing. So when Joseph Kosinski did that, and then he was tapped to do F1, you can kind of see where things align, like action sequences, tight angles, that sort of thing. And you get that in this film as well. Now, what I think is absolutely amazing is that you feel like you are a part of the action in this film. You feel like you're in the cockpit alongside, Brad Pitt as he is racing in this film. And it's like nothing short of absolutely amazing, because you are going to have that feeling of being, there in that moment. Your heart starts to race. You start to feel like, oh my God, this is amazing. You jump up out of your seat, you like, honestly, like your entire body is going to be feeling this race throughout this film. When the cars pass, you feel it in your chest as if you were there. It's impossible to describe without you seeing it in person, but that's what this film feels like. It's just that good of a film that you just feel everything in your chest. And obviously, this direction is entirely built on top of the amazing score of this film, which there are times where you hear the score. It's not very prevalent when you hear it, but there are some incredible tracks in this film. Like songs that I would probably put on a playlist on my phone just to have, just to like feel like you're pumped up and ready to go. Like that's what I would consider the soundtrack of this film to be, is just like pumped up music that will just get you excited and just like ready for anything. And there are some notable additions in this soundtrack, one of them being the newest song by Ed Sheeran, which is absolutely amazing as well. You hear it in the end credits, but it's a great song. And you just, overall, soundtrack, the score of this film just keeps you entertained and just like absolutely enthralled by what you're seeing. Like it's awesome. And I do think that the story is also a big highlight here, because typically works of fiction, specifically when we're talking about racing, when we're talking about other moments in time, when we're talking about certain films that are based in some sort of reality, we do think of like, oh, majority of this story is fake, right? Well, believe it or not, when it comes to this movie, to F1, I do think that due to the fact that most of the story is based in reality, like a lot of the things that you see are things that happen in real life. The accidents you see in this movie are very much rooted in reality. A lot of the discussions you see on this film are rooted in reality. A lot of the emotions that you see, fights, the sort of acting out parts, the parts that you would say like, oh, that's probably fake. A lot of it is rooted in reality to certain extents. And I feel like that's a brilliant, like, nod to everything that goes on in F1. And I just can't help but say, like, that was, like, a highlight of this movie. The fact that the story really does bring you into the world of F1 in a more intimate sense, even though there's a lot of little fictional things that happen around the movie. A lot of that is rooted in some form of reality, which I think is phenomenal. And one really cool little nod that I loved about this film is that, he, in this movie, Sonny Hayes, which is the character that Brad Pitt plays, he actually starts the film. Like, there's a scene that starts the film where, you don't know what the scene is, but it is a first-person view of Sonny Hayes in his car, racing alongside, who would have thunk, Senna himself. I know, like, the fact that you get to see kind of him running alongside, like racing alongside Senna, is amazing. And I think that that's like a cool little connective tissue that they could have like connected him to reality in some sort of way, and that was just absolutely brilliant. I think that was a brilliant way of connecting those two in the story, which kind of gives you that sense of like, this guy's really experienced, a really great racer, and for him to go head to head with one of the best in the world is just absolutely like a brilliant little story detail that I loved. Another thing as well about this movie that I have to give it, a lot of praise for, and that it's the pacing. Like, the pacing of this film is absolutely amazing. Like, there's not one point in this movie where I'm like, okay, this is boring. Like, I don't want to watch more of this movie. No. That's like the complete opposite. Like, this movie is 2.5 hours long, okay? Like, you would think that in 2.5 hours, at least a good 30 to 45 minutes of the movie would be boring. No. This movie is great at pacing, at giving you incredible moments, shots that you're like really intrigued by. The writing really helps out as well. So, everything flows really well in this film. And for 2.5 hours, I did not feel the 2.5 hours at all. Like, I was so engaged in this movie that it just felt amazing. There's just no other words to describe it other than fantastically well-paced. And I have to give it also a big shout out in the how can I say this? The cast as a whole is absolutely amazing. Brad Pitt, in this movie, he is fantastic. He brings experience, he brings the ways and like flavor of people who actually are from Formula One or old racers, people who are from that time and are coming back into the racing world. There's aspects of him in this movie that, sure, you put Brad Pitt in the movie, you kind of already know what kind of character he's going to play because you already are familiar with him. But he pulls out of this movie a lot of things. He puts in things, I should say, into this movie that are very much into that world of F1. He shows that he has experience. He shows that he has, a determination to, go out and win and be a part of this story. It's great. It's absolutely great to see him in this movie. And that also goes alongside the person who's his partner in this, Damson Idris. A brilliant actor as well. Like, he really plays the playboy in this story as well, who's kind of like, yeah, whatever, there's not much, into it, like, whatever. He plays that cool guy aesthetic, but, having Sonny, in this case, just look through the BS that Joshua is putting out, clearly is, it ends up being Joshua's motivation to become a better driver, and him being called out on his BS kind of makes him a better driver in the end. And everything just works really well with him in this thing. Now, I have to say, like, he goes through in this movie, there's a scene where, he goes through an accident, and then afterwards he's dealing with that loss and, trying to understand how to move forward and stuff. So, like, you do see a certain level of conflict in him. Joshua is, like, always being conflicted and that sort of thing. So, I mean, that plays into how well Damson Idris did of a job in this film. He really does play it as someone who is, becoming a new driver, a driver that's going to be determined and ultimately become the best driver. So, in a way, you see a level of growth in him from the beginning of the movie to the end of the movie. And I love films that do that. Films that do that are awesome because it shows that there's an arc for that character. So Damson Idris, again, big thumbs up there. Another person that we need to talk about. The big fave of this film, Javier Bardem. Javier Bardem in this film is amazing. He plays it like the boss. He really does play it like he's the owner of this brand, and it's awesome to see him in this film. There's little touches to him as if he had experience with Sonny because they raced together. So ultimately, that relationship is on screen, even though it's not super melted in there. You can definitely tell by little touches, little looks, that go on in each other's eyes, and you can tell that there's this huge mutual respect for one another. There's no moment in this film where one disrespects the other. It's always a certain level of professionalism that you see between those two racers, like one being the actual racer, continuing to be a racer, and the other one just acting as, I would say, like, almost emotional support in a way for that character. So Javier Bardem actually plays this role fantastically well and really does, again, play a role as if he's actually part of F1, and it's believable. It's not like an impossible feat. It feels believable enough that you can tell that, okay, he definitely is a part of this world, and I believe what he is telling me. And obviously, our big, incredible sort of like scientist of this film, played by Carrie Condon. She is amazing in this film. Really plays the role like she is part of F1, like with the experience, the knowledge, the know-how, and seeing Sonny kind of play off of that. Sonny being a super experienced driver, pairing up with this like super experienced scientist who is like understanding the aerodynamics of these cars, and him kind of giving her the tips to be able to push the car further. So I love to see that in this film. Now, obviously we have this sort of like love connection between her and, Brad Pitt's character. So that connection in and of itself is great seeing in the film, even though it's you have little experiences here and there, but because this movie is so focused on telling this F1 story that it doesn't really, dive too much into it, which is great. I would like to say this. It's a good thing that they don't explore this relationship very far and focuses directly on the racing, the action, and really puts you in that, moment in time with these characters in this sort of like racing. They're just trying to get through and win a couple races and be able to, be a better team and move together. So I think that it's a great, moment in this sort of racing world that we saw in this film. And I feel like the story is so well told that you really can't go wrong with, the characters that you see on screen. So all the characters, all the actors in this film did a brilliant job of, being able to make us believe that they are there. Because sometimes you get actors that are just not really that interesting and they don't really play off of one another very well. But in this film, everybody was cohesive, believable, and you could actually tell like that this was very well done. And as a quick aside, I have to say, I don't know this for a fact, but the movie itself makes it look like it is Damson Idris and, Brad Pitt who are sitting in those cockpits racing. So I don't know if that is the fact, but I really do hope in a small part of me that it is actually them driving. So I don't know, we have to see maybe the future, making of this film, but I really hope that it is them who are racing in this film, because that would be amazing as a part of this story. Now I have a little funny thing, which I honestly like. This is a little detail that really kind of like bugged me, but at the same time is kind of weird to see. But as I was watching the movie, I was there watching it, and then like obviously there are moments where they flash up like moments at the track, and then like you see celebrities and you see people like by the cars and the drivers like explaining how the cars work. You see those like little actual F1 moments. And somebody who pops up in this movie that is in the casting of this film, but is only there for like maybe, I swear to you, like less than a second on screen is Simone Ashley. She's in this movie, but she's there for like a split second. No speaking role, you just see her smiling and waving, and that's it. That's all she does the entire film. So if you see her in the cast list, don't go into this movie thinking, uh-oh, she's in this movie, I have to go see her. No, she's there for a split second. Don't worry. She's a great actress. I love her work, but she's only here for a split second. Overall, I think this movie really hits every note correctly. Every note is hit correctly in this movie. Like, it's very hard for me to sit here and say, there's a lot of faults with this movie. There's a lot of bad things here, and there isn't. It's just really hard for me to find something bad about this movie. Cinematography is great. The music is great. The acting is great. The story is great. The pacing is great. There's just no other thing that I can think of to complain about this movie, because it's just that good. Okay? Like, it's just that good. If you have maybe an ounce of time out of your schedule, I know that this movie isn't going to be out on streaming very soon, or at least by the time that you watch this, it's still going to be in theaters. So there's no other word to describe this movie other than amazing. So please go and get this movie, like get tickets to this movie, go see it. I went to see it, let me tell you, I went to see this movie on the smallest screen at my movie theater. Like, I literally saw it on the smallest screen in my theater, and it's a pretty big screen, mind you. The smallest screen, and it just felt amazing. So even if you have to see it on the smallest screen in a theater, go see it in theater. If you have a 4DX theater, go see it in the 4DX theater. I'm a big time, like, really focused on having that great experience when it comes to these movies. This movie is simply amazing. Go watch this movie in theaters. I'm telling you, based on our, experience or shared experience here, this is a great movie. You need to go see it in theaters. Now, I would like to say a rumor. I would like to add a rumor to this video at the very end here that we are. They say that there is some interest in kind of making a sequel to Days of Thunder. Now, everybody has said that there could be a major, I wouldn't say major, but there is a bigger possibility that if they were to make a sequel to Days of Thunder, that they could possibly have it be a crossover with this film, which would be amazing if you ask me. And I would say this is a great idea. This is a great idea, and something that I would be 100% behind, and that would possibly put me in a movie theater seat. And mind you, it would have to be directed by Joseph Kosinski. I would just say that. If Joseph Kosinski comes out and says, hey, we're doing a Days of Thunder sequel, and Sonny Hayes is going to be in that movie, and yeah, that would put me immediately, give me tickets yesterday for this thing, because I would definitely go see it. So all in all, I think this movie is absolutely amazing. Now, before I go, I would like to recommend you, the people who are watching, who would like to know a little bit more about Formula One, I would like to recommend 2 things for you to watch. If you're interested in F1 or have some interest in understanding a little bit more behind either a driver or a team, if you want to know a little bit more about Senna, I would like to recommend the Senna series from Netflix. If you have a chance, go watch this. It's amazing. I loved it. It's told with such love and compassion, and my goodness, I would just like to spoil this part of the movie. There is a Marcelo Silva in the movie. I'll just put it like that. There is a Marcelo Silva in the show. It's not a movie, it's a show, but it's so well done. I thought it was a movie there for a second. But no, the Senna limited series here, you have to go watch it. It's beautifully directed, really well done. The story will definitely touch your heart, and you'll absolutely love it. Now, the second story is actually a documentary that actually the person who hosts the documentary is Keanu Reeves, and that is Brawn, the Impossible Formula One story, which, by the way, this entire movie feels a whole lot like this documentary. Go watch the documentary, and then if you want to go watch the movie in theaters, go watch the movie in theaters, or if you want to do the reverse, go watch it in theaters first, and then watch this documentary. You're going to see a lot of similarities, but nonetheless, Brawn, the Impossible Formula One story, go watch it, because it feels almost as if they kind of did like a frame-by-frame reproduction of this story, but for F1, the film, and it's just absolutely amazing. Go watch this documentary. You're really going to be surprised with a lot of little elements that you learn along the way. But nonetheless, those are my recommendations for you if you guys want to experience something different that is F1 related. On our thermometer meter here, I would put it right around the super hot category, like right up here. Like, it's literally in the super hot category. There's no other way to describe it. It's a great film, great music, great everything. Just go out, watch this film. But then again, all these things that I talked about, the movie, are just my opinion. And I want to hear from you. What do you think F1 is like? Did you like the F1 movie? Did you like seeing the film in theaters? Did you not see it in theaters? Are you going to wait for it to be on streaming? Tell to me below because I want to hear from you. And while you're down there, hit the subscribe button and hit the bell to be notified when new videos go live on this channel. And thank you guys so much for watching this video. And I'll see you in the next video.
Scrolling through YouTube, same old routine, then bam, movie savant, what a scene. Trivia bombshells dropping knowledge like rain. Forget the dishes, gotta watch it again. Movie buffs unite, savants to place. Subscribe and hit the bell, don't leave a trace. Next level knowledge keeps you in the loop. Savants got the scoop, ain't nothing to recoup.
Happy Fantastic Four Day. I know you guys are probably as excited as I am, but I just wanted to let you know I will be seeing it today. So I just wanted to, keep you guys aware that I will be doing a thoughts video on it next week. So just keep that in mind. Next Friday, I will have the review up for you guys to see what my thoughts are on Fantastic Four. I am so excited to see this movie, and I'm just making sure my fingers are crossed that it's good.